As I understand it, Mr. Copeland, your testimony is that you told many lies in these interviews in 2015, correct?
Yes.
Okay. I would like to just review with you some of the lies that you told, okay?
All right.
All right, thank you. First of all, I want to talk to you about the gray infinity. Okay?
I'm listening.
All right. Through the questioning of the police, and I don't know, maybe through other information that you've been given, you're aware that there's a surveillance video of the shooting of Donovan Thomas, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And you're aware that the surveillance video shows a gray sedan, correct?
Yes.
And you're aware that the police believe it to be an Infiniti, correct?
They put it on the news.
Okay. Your Honor, I'm going to ask Mr. Kokomo to publish DS-19A, which is a clip from States 378 Yankee A, which is the January 11, 2015 interview, from 3/18/47 to 3/19/38.
Who's Walter Lee Maddox? Who? Who's Walter Maddox? Huh? No anything? Did y'all ever rent or own an Infiniti? Infiniti? Y'all ever rent one of those cars before? Have you ever been stopped in an Infiniti before? Have I? Yeah. Had an accident in an Infiniti? No. A Maxima? Have I ever had a car wreck in? No. Okay. Let me think. Anytime. I had a car wreck in Pontiac. That was a couple years ago. I ain't had no car wreck. I ain't had no red sleep. I ain't never had anything.
Okay, this is the same night that Donovan Thomas was shot and killed, correct?
Can you say it again?
This is the same night. This interview was the same night that Donovan Thomas was shot and killed, correct?
I guess.
Okay. And Detective Thorpe, you heard him. He asked if you've ever owned or rented an Infiniti, correct?
That's what he said.
And you said no, right?
Right.
He asked if you ever wrecked an Infiniti, right?
Right.
And you said no.
Right.
Okay. I'm going to publish, Your Honor, with your permission, DS-19B, which is a clip from the same interview on 378 Yankee Alpha, States Exhibit 378 Yankee Alpha, from 3/20/28 to 3/20/48. It's just 20 seconds.
Is it video?
Yes. 3/20/28 to 3/20/48.
Y'all ever had a Infiniti Gray?
It's not playing.
Gray? Y'all ever?
Is it up now?
No.
Okay. Could you start it over?
Y'all ever had a Infiniti Gray? A gray Infiniti Q45 before? A truck? No. A cup? Yeah. Not I know of. Actually, but maybe his car. A red car he had rented or something like that. That's cool. That's cool.
Okay. In that clip, again, Detective Thorpe asked you about whether you ever had a gray Infiniti, correct?
Right.
And you said, not that I know of.
Right.
Okay. Those were your statements on January 11, 2015, hours after Donovan Thomas was shot, correct?
Right.
Okay. I want to talk to you about the reality. The reality is that you asked Jeffrey Williams to rent you a gray Infiniti, correct?
I'm listening.
Or I should say, you asked him to rent you a car, and it ended up being a gray Infiniti, correct?
I'm listening.
Okay. The reality is that on the night of June 9th, going into the morning of June 10th, the same day that Donovan Thomas was shot, you were driving that Infiniti on the highway, correct?
I don't know. I can't remember when I was driving it.
We just saw your testimony from earlier in this trial.
Yeah, but you being specific about the time. I don't know.
Okay. The reality is,
I don't know when I written on the expressway. That's what I'm saying.
okay. Do you agree that it was, I'm not asking for a time, do you agree that it was on the evening of January 9th? It was nighttime that you wrecked.
It was
correct?
nighttime.
You were speeding on the highway and you hit some cones.
I lost control, yeah.
And that was, I believe in your testimony, you said you wrecked the car. And let me be clear, Quindarius Zachary, Lil D from Cleveland, you know who I'm talking about?
Yes.
Lil D from Cleveland was in that car, that Infiniti, with you on the night you wrecked.
Yes.
Okay. And after wrecking the car, you guys reattached the bumper on the side of the highway, correct?
How you know that?
Is it true?
I'm listening.
Okay. And after you reattached the bumper, that's when you went and pulled up on threat Trevante Turner at a music studio somewhere around Northside Drive, I believe is what you said.
Yes. Correct?
And you gave that car to that Infiniti to Trevante Turner.
Yes.
Okay. And in your testimony, you said then you went home, fell asleep, and the next day you woke up, and that's when the Donovan Thomas shooting occurred, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm just working through this with you. I'm not trying to trick you. So based on your testimony, you were driving that car, that Infiniti, on the evening of January 9th going into January 10th, correct?
I guess.
Of 2015 with Mr. Zachary.
I guess.
And you gave that Infiniti to your good friend, Threat, in the early morning hours of January 10th, 2015, correct?
I gave it to him at nighttime. It was dark.
Okay. So you don't remember if it was before midnight or after midnight. Is that what you're saying?
I don't keep up with the time.
Okay, that's fine. The bottom line is you were specifically asked about that Infiniti or an Infiniti hours after Donovan Thomas was shot. And you denied ever being in possession of an Infiniti, correct?
Say that again.
When you were asked on January 11th, early in the morning, talking to Detective Thorpe, when Detective Thorpe, the lead investigator of the Donovan Thomas murder, asked you about possessing a gray Infiniti, you denied that you ever had one, correct?
Right.
Okay. Let's talk about the gun at the Dunbar Rec Center. As I understand your testimony, or as I understand your statements, let me back up. I'm sorry. At the Dunbar Rec Center, we're talking about a Diamondback .223 assault rifle, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, so we're not talking about a handgun. We're talking about a semi-automatic machine gun? Is that a fair assessment?
A chopper.
A chopper. Okay. And in your statements back in 2015, you repeatedly denied possession of that gun, didn't you?
They put it on me.
Okay. And your testimony actually here today is that you were just there playing basketball and they put it on you.
That's what the video would show.
Okay. You specifically said in your statements when you were trying to get out of jail, I ain't do nothing, right?
Right.
Okay. The reality is that you pled to that case in federal court, correct?
Yes.
Okay. In federal court, you acknowledged possessing that gun.
Yes.
Okay. And you were sentenced.
Yes.
Okay. And and to be fair to you, you served your sentence, right?
Yes.
Okay. Let's talk about the stolen IDs and the rental car and the laptop in the apartment on June 10th, 2015, okay? And that's the day that the federal agents kicked into
Yep.
Sean's door and locked you up. And that's also the same day that you made up the story and lied and said Demekion Garlington told you that Shannon and others were responsible for killing Donovan Thomas, right?
Yes.
Okay. Can you play DS23I for me, Mr. Kokomo? And that's States Exhibit 378 Yankee Echo from June 10th, 2015, from 11:25:01 to 11:26:20.
Like I said, you didn't say that. You said, I tell you, did that shit. Yeah. Okay. They want to know now? Need the history. Lil Mike, man.
Pause.
Can you play it again?
Yes, we can.
Like I said, you didn't say that. You said, I tell you, did that shit. Yeah. Okay. They want to know now? Need the history. Lil Mike, man. Lil Mike quiz.
In that clip, you're being asked about how those stolen items ended up in your apartment and your rental car, correct?
Yes.
And you're telling the investigators that you didn't do those auto breakings that resulted in those items being stolen, correct?
Right.
You're saying it was Little Mike and Quez from Etheridge?
Yes.
Okay.
You ain't never heard of him? You ain't never heard of him? They want him. Whatever they try to jump out there. I'm pretty wait. You pull out the other day about 5 o'clock with y'all and nothing.
There's gonna be a lot of motherfuckers out there.
How am I gonna know it's them?
You.
Well,
Why you got to know?
I don't know it. Why I got it?
Yeah.
Kind of trying to jewels out for him. What that mean? Make me some money out for him.
What, sell somebody identity or something?
Nah, just like, I mean, it's just like,
No, what the fuck is that?
make money out for him.
How?
How
What's
did
the
you
jewel?
get it? How did you get it? Shit, then I got it. When they bought the cup. Tay bought the cup at them. Wait a minute, you let Tay borrow the Jeep. Yeah.
Lil D, bro.
No. You know what I'm talking about. You talking about Trevante. Yeah. You let Trevante use the car. Yeah, he's supposed to go to him. You know what I'm saying? But when they pull that car, I let it go.
Okay. There you're saying that you gave the car to Javante, who gave it to Lil Mike and Quez, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and you would agree that detectives Gaither and Dennis are telling you we've never even heard of Lil Mike and Quez, correct?
Yes.
Mr. Copeland, Lil Mike is not a real person, is he?
No.
That was the finesse. You invented a person out of thin air, correct?
Yes.
Quez is not a real person. You invented him out of thin air on the spot, correct?
Yes.
You invented those people to take the heat off of you and put it on fictional characters.
I done told y'all that's what I do.
That's your finesse, right? The reality is that stolen merchandise was found in your apartment and in your rental car, and you invented fictional characters to take the heat off yourself, right? I know you're going to say, I told you that's what I do,
I guess.
but I got to ask the questions. You understand? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. October 27, 2021. Okay. Your Honor, may I approach?
You may.
Mr. Copeland, I am handing you what's been marked DS25C. Do you recognize the people in that photograph?
Yes.
Okay, and who are those people?
Me and the police.
Okay, and do you know either of the police officers' names?
Miss V, and I think that the white man named Kelly, something like that.
Okay, could the Caucasian gentleman be known as Investigator Kettle?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay, and Ms. V is Investigator Viverito?
Yeah, the probation officer.
Okay. And are you in an interrogation room in that photo?
Yes.
Okay, and is that a photo from the interrogation of you on October 27, 2021?
Yes.
Okay, and at this time, Your Honor, I would ask to admit DS25C into evidence.
All right.
Mr.
submitted.
Kokomo, could you publish that? Okay, and like I asked you about the photo from June 10, 2015, I'm going to ask about this photo as well. You don't appear to be wearing a Fulton County blue uniform, are you?
No.
Okay, and I can't tell if were your arms shackled together during that interview?
My leg.
All right, and we see you're wearing Timberland boots, and we see a chain right next to the boot, correct?
It's on my leg.
Right, and that's shackling you to the ground.
Yes.
You are under arrest in this photo,
Yes.
okay? And you know that you are soon to be wearing a Fulton County blue uniform, correct?
That's what they told me.
Okay. And the allegations of that case were you were pulled over at Atlantic Station in Atlanta, correct?
No.
Where were you?
Walking.
Okay, you were walking. All right. According to the police, they searched a car that they were saying was yours, right?
Yes.
And they found a handgun under the car seat, correct?
That's what they claim.
Okay. And you were a convicted felon, so you're not allowed to possess the handgun.
But I was walking.
Okay, I understand that's what you're saying. But you were charged with reckless conduct and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
No. I was charged with driving with suspended license and a firearm.
Okay. Thank you for that correction. When you say firearm, you're talking about possession of firearm by a convicted felon.
Yes.
Okay. And there's a little complication with that explanation. You were, in fact, searched after you were arrested, correct?
I was tased and everything.
Okay. And when the police searched your clothing, correct?
Yes.
And they actually found a magazine in your pocket, and bullets in your pocket, correct?
That's what they say.
In the pocket of the pants you were wearing, correct?
That's what they say.
Okay. And when I say a magazine, that's a component of a gun that holds the bullets, correct?
I guess.
Okay. All right. Mr. Kokomo, could you play DS25B, which is from 10/27/21 interview from 2/23/05 to 2/23/58?
I think that video has been tendered and admitted.
Has it, do you know?
It has not.
I am asking to, well, I'll go about this a different way. Thank you, Ms. Hill.
I have an objection, so I'm just saying that it's
Well,
not admitted.
Let me, I might not need to play the video. Mr. Copeland, do you remember in that interview, you were asked about if that's not your gun in the car, and if you were just walking, why do you have a magazine with bullets in your pocket? Correct? You remember them asking you that?
Can I speak to my lawyer?
Yes. Well,
Yes, you can. Let's take a break anyway.
you could publish that picture, please. Okay. Hanging from Mr. Thomas's neck is essentially what the Planter's Peanut Man. It's a chain of the Planter's Peanut Man. And that is Donovan Thomas's chain, and that is a chain that he owned in 2015, correct?
I guess.
And he owned it in 2014 as well, correct?
Shit, I guess.
Okay. You are aware that in late 2014, Donovan Thomas's chain went missing, correct?
Right.
Someone stole it.
If that's what you want to call it.
Okay. Do you remember on January 11, 2015, the day you went to talk to Detective Thorpe? Detective Thorpe asked you about your relationship with Donovan Thomas, right?
I'm listening.
Okay. Mr. Kokomo, could you publish DS 18A, which is States 378 Yankee Alpha, which is January 11, 2015, 3:14:23 to 3:14:36. It's just 13 seconds, if you could listen.
That I talked first and straight while I was about. I didn't do it. I never had a problem with nothing. Ain't never had two words to each other. Me and that was always okay. You know what I'm saying? Only person I had a problem with was Kev. I don't really be with him. When we see each other, they jump me up. When they be with him,
Okay, Mr. Kokomo, could you now publish DS 18B, which is from January 11th, 2015, 3:20:50 to 3:21:04 a.m.
so we never had a problem with nothing. Never in life. Okay. Never cool. Okay. We just had a problem with Brother Kev. Yes. Describe Kato to me. Show you a picture.
Mr. Kokomo, could you publish DS 18C, which is from the same interview, same exhibit, 3:30:31 to 3:31:02?
I switched up on them, so I got you. Yeah, so they got the ass with you. But I know that they saying like, I didn't know it ain't be over with. I did something. I know it ain't, you know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to go to jail, I ain't trying to be dead, I ain't trying to go to nobody's funeral, I'm not none of this. Me and nothing ain't never had a problem. You know what I'm saying? Somebody, I put a show to you. A person come on my Instagram page and say, you gonna die tonight. They come on my picture and say, your Instagram? Yes. You gonna die.
And finally, Mr. Kokomo, could you play DS 18D, which is from the same interview, 3:41:50 to 3:42:45 a.m.?
I don't know what to do, but I didn't do it. Like, I'm lost. Like, right now, man, I really am, man. I'm scared. I'm lost. I always wonder, but I can't even think, man. Like, I don't know what to do, man. I don't, man. Because my name come back and everything, I'll be the same with it. But now somebody's dead, and I know how it feels to lose one, you know what I'm saying? I lost my closest friend, you know what I'm saying? And now, these niggas, they showing up people's mama house and stuff like that, bro. Like, and it ain't even dead, it's a game. It's the whole clip, you know what I'm saying? They deep, you know what I'm saying? That's the only thing that put fear in my heart, because now I gotta watch out for everywhere I go. I have to watch out, and it ain't nothing I can do about it, man. I didn't have nothing to do with this. I didn't kill him. I didn't have him killed. I ain't never tried to fight him. I ain't never tried to rob him. I had never done nothing to nothing.
In that January 11th interview, you stated to Detective Thorpe on 4 different occasions that you never had any problem with Nut, that you and Nut were okay, correct?
I'm listening.
Okay. You specifically said, I've never tried to fight him. I've never tried to rob him. I've never tried to do nothing to Nut.
Right?
Okay. Your Honor, I'm going to ask Mr. Kokomo to publish DS-21, which is State's 378 Yankee Beta from 8/11/50 to 8/13/18. Hold on one second, Mr. Kokomo. And Your Honor, I'm sorry. I'm going to ask a couple questions first. Going to your January 28th, 2015 interview. Well, in general,
Let's just get to your question. You want to know, did I take the change?
we're going to get there. We're going to get there. We're going to get there. But in 2014, Donovan Thomas's chain went missing, was stolen out of his car, correct?
Right.
All right. To people in hip hop, a chain is a very personal thing, correct?
I don't know.
You don't know that? Okay. Mr. Kokomo, if you could publish DS-21.
Like, and then, like, they would have somebody broke in that car and gave me the phone and the jury. Because when I realized I took it, you know what I'm saying? What the hell? This nut shit. Right. I called him nuts. Hey, man, I got your shit right here. Pull up on me. He come pull up on me. But before I gave back to him, I already hit Timmy. And he was texting the kid like, come on, bro, I introduced you to these folks, bro. You just took them out. And he was like, he sent big paragraph and killed this shit. Like, man, nigga, nigga, what up? You know what I'm saying? Like, nigga, I'm out here, nigga, you ain't doing it for me. Yeah. This one reading. You know what I'm saying? So, nuts and big paragraph, more paragraph, more paragraph, more paragraph. Kid, like, man. And like, he ain't say back, like, man, nigga, fuck you, whatever. You know what I'm saying? But nut pull up. Don't nobody know you. You know what I'm saying? Nut pull up. Him and Grease. Man, nut got each other up. Like, bro, here, your stuff right here. You know what I'm saying? Right. He like, how you get it, bro? I ain't want to tell him. One of the young niggas on the vehicle broke in the car.
Okay. In that story, you were saying that someone stole a chain from Nut, correct? The peanut chain.
Yeah.
And that person, and not only his chain, but his ID, his wallet, his phone, correct?
Right.
And that person happened to give you Donovan Thomas's belongings.
Right.
And you said, you told the police, you realized it was Donovan Thomas's chain. And you called Nut and wanted to return his stuff. Right? And specifically, right before we paused it, you said you didn't want to tell Donovan Thomas who took it. Right?
Right.
You wouldn't want to tell Donovan Thomas who took it because Donovan Thomas is what some people might say is the big homie. Right? He's a gang leader. You don't just take Donovan Thomas's chain and it's all cool, correct?
I don't know.
Well, that's why you wouldn't want to tell Donovan Thomas who took it, correct? You'd want to protect whoever took that chain. You wouldn't want Donovan Thomas gunning for that person for disrespecting his property, right?
Right.
Mr. Kokomo, could you play DS-24D, which is State's 378 Yankee Delta, which is from February 21st, 2015, And this is from 5:37:44 to 5:40:26.
But I was spying on that kid in Canada at night.
It's not playing.
He told me to pull up there one day.
Is it popped up now?
No.
You started again, Mr. Kokomo.
There you go.
But
Thank you.
I was spying on that kid in Canada at night. He told me to pull up there one day. Somebody had one of my little punk broke in the car, stole his chain, his phone, his ID, not his driver's license. And I gave it back to him. Like, you know, I got it. Man, it's nuts shit, nigga. You is. But I really thought he was gonna give me some back for it. I called him like, hey man, I got the shit, bro. Like, for real, bro? Like, yeah. Like, where you at? I'm like, right here in Mechanicsville. I'm on my way to Mechanicsville. He like, all right, call me when you get out there. So he called me back. I'm like, shit, I'm here that way now. He's like, all right. So when I get out there, I call him. He like, pull up at nothing spot. Like, shit, I ain't got no ride now. I got dropped out like 4. So I'm finna pull up with my, I like to pull like, right here, pop on the player. He pull up, bag in, hand me a 50. Shit, she get out the car. 50. Vic was in the car, like, what's up? I'm like, what's up, bro? Shit, nothing came. Like, here you go, bro. You ready? Dap me up. Give him that little shoulder thing. So when I get him done, but I was spying on that kid in Canada at night.
Again, on February 21st, 2015, you're telling that investigator about your partner stealing from Donovan Thomas and then giving you the chain and the phone and the wallet, and then you returning it back to Donovan Thomas, right?
Right?
And you dapped him up, and you and Donovan Thomas were all good.
Right?
Okay. January 11th, 2015, you repeatedly said you had no problems with Donovan Thomas.
Right?
January 28th, you talked about the chain. It was someone else that took it. You returned it to Donovan Thomas, wouldn't tell him who took it, but y'all were all good.
Right?
February 21st, 2015, you again repeated that story about one of your partners taking the chain, it ending up in your hands. You returned it to Donovan Thomas. You dap him up. You're all good.
Right?
Mr. Copeland, the reality is, late in 2014, you broke into Donovan Thomas's truck. Isn't that correct?
The door was open.
The reality is, you knew that was Donovan Thomas's truck. You know what he drove, right? You went into his truck and took his peanut chain, right? You knew it was Donovan Thomas's peanut chain, but you didn't care. You wanted to disrespect Donovan Thomas. You wanted to take his stuff. Isn't that correct?
It wasn't about disrespecting him.
The reality is, Mr. Copeland, that Donovan Thomas called his phone and you answered. Isn't that correct?
Yeah.
The reality is, you knew that Donovan Thomas knew that you stole his stuff.
I ain't steal it.
Objection, speculation.
Sustained.
The reality is that you knew you bit off more than you could chew.
What you mean by that?
Donovan Thomas was coming after you.
Objection, speculation. Based on the evidence, relevance.
Sustained.
The reality is, you made up this whole story about returning his chain, about your partner breaking in, and all the rest to try to throw Donovan Thomas off of your scent. Correct? But Donovan Thomas knew.
Objection, speculation, vague.
Sustained.
When you told Detective Thorpe on January 11th, 2015, that you ain't never have no problems with Donovan Thomas, that you and Nut were cool, you never brought up the chain, did you?
For what?
When you said you ain't never tried to rob him, you ain't done nothing to Donovan Thomas, you never brought up the chain, did you?
That ain't robbery.
You and Donovan Thomas were far from cool.
Mr. Copeland, in Jeffrey Williams 250B as in Barry, did you hear, and it's at the 410 mark starting, you said that you didn't think that this SHI, I'm just not saying the word, blank, was going to go that far, and that they, meaning the prosecution, the police, knew that you were BSing. Did you hear you say that?
Yes.
I want to ask you also, did you hear in this February 19, 2023 recorded call, and by the way, tell the jurors who you're speaking with in relation to you.
A friend.
Did you hear you discuss and you say that this is crazy, you tried to talk your way out of it, it didn't work. Your friend says that that's the problem, is that you talk too much and that you need to be quiet. She says a different term. And you ask, you say that doesn't your friend realize that you're kicking yourself in the backside or ASS for that? Do you hear that?
Yes.
And that you're sitting in jail. There's only one reason that they will let you out, meaning the police and the prosecutors. Is that who you're referring to?
Yes.
And you said what's done is done. You can't take it back. Did you hear you say something to that effect?
Yes.
Okay. Did you hear on this recorded call that you said that they didn't put anybody else out there but you? They are trying to make it seem like it's you and Thug. You said that when they came to see you, they asked about it. You just wanted to know why you weren't going to court. You don't know anything about anybody else. You said you told the police and the prosecutors you made all of this SHI blank up to try to finesse your way out of jail. Did you hear something to that effect?
Yes.
And who is the person, when you said when they came to see you, who are you referring to?
Them two right there.
And when you say them two, the two prosecutors sitting at the front table before the Honorable Judge Whitaker?
Yes.
Ms. Hilton?
Huh?
Ms. Hilton?
And Ms. Love.
Okay. And did you tell them back in 2023 that what you said previously was to finesse your way out of jail and it's untrue?
Yes.
Did you make that clear?
Yes.
Did they come visit you at the Fayette County Jail?
Yes.
Did you hear on this recording, you then said that they ended the interview and left because you weren't doing what they wanted to hear? Did you hear that?
Yes.
And you're talking same two prosecutors that sit before the jury every day?
Yes.
Did you hear yourself say that you thought that they would believe what you said back in 2015 and let you go, but it didn't work? Did you hear something to that effect?
Yes.
Who is the they? Who are you, when you say, I thought that they would believe what I said and let you go? Who are you referring to?
The police.
Okay.
The gang unit.
And the jurors know who they are, but the same people that's been on the videos?
Yes.
And Detective Thorpe, I assume, if I'm wrong.
Yes.
Say. Okay, and Agent Cunningham.
Yes.
Okay. Did you hear, and this is at 17:50 start time on the same Jeffrey Williams 250B as in Barry, did you hear you say that you have effed up, you have an effed up way of thinking? You think that you have all the sense, but you don't have any. Your friend agrees. You say you had an effed up way of thinking. You thought that if you lied on that MF, I'm not saying the word, but MF, they wouldn't touch him or do anything. Do you remember hearing that?
Yes.
Who is the MF you're referring to? If you lied on the MF, who are you pointing at?
Thug.
Thug, okay. And you made that clear to these prosecutors and the police?
Yes.
You mentioned in the last recording that the jurors heard, as well as this recording, there was a lot of talk about a video. Do you know what I'm referring to? There's a lot of talk
Yes.
about the video getting attention. Do you know what I'm referring to?
Yes.
Tell the jurors what you are referring to on your calls that we just heard.
Interrogation footage, video.
And was it one of the ones that we saw or the jurors saw in this courtroom before the Honorable Judge Whitaker?
Yes.
And when you say, when you're talking and your friend is saying, you know, people are talking about it, you heard all those conversations, right? On the
Yes.
recording? Do you know who put that video on the internet during this, before this trial started?
I don't know who did it.
Do you have a belief who did it?
Yes.
And who are you referring to who did that?
Objection, relevance, who he believes.
Goes to his state of
And
mind.
speculation.
Goes to his state of mind on the conversations that he's referring to. It puts it in context.
I'll allow it.
Who did you believe put out the videos on the internet of your interrogation, or the video?
The state.
And by the state, the same people you've been referring to?
I can't say specific if it was them, but the state did it.
Okay. And what did that have an effect on you or your family when you believe the state of Georgia put out your interrogation?
Well, they believe I'd be, if everybody say I'm a snitch, you know, this and then third, they believe that I'd be like, okay, and just do what they want me to do.
And is that, there was a mention in the last recording that your friend was saying, or your sister, we're getting a lawyer, they put us in harm's way. Was that a lawyer for what?
To go out to the state.
For putting that video out?
Yes. To see who put it out.
Okay. Did the police ever come to you, or the district attorney's office ever come to you and discuss with you whether or not anything about you were around Jeffrey when police are calling and his impression of it or reaction to it? They ever do anything to verify that, to your knowledge?
No.
It's made up, right?
But they said that their own mouth. You heard them in the investigation. You ain't giving us nothing. You bushing us. I mean, like they knew what I was doing. My stomach hurt bad, Judge. I feel like I had cramps.
And then the last one I want to focus on for this series is Jeffrey Williams number or JW 240EE, Aaron, that states exhibit number 378YE. It's the June 10th, 2015 meeting, interrogation with the police, and now it's a little early. It's 10:01:46 a.m. to 10:01:59 a.m. And you said something to the effect of, I hate jail, man. And I'm just saying darn, but it says another word. I let an N get me sent away for man, them N's trying to kill me and my child, bruh, I ain't. And then he talking about killing me, bruh. Listen, I'm a tell you anything. Okay? If you could just listen to this for us.
You know what they did to me?
Tell us. Tell us.
After January the 10th, people started shooting at me and my family. February, I went to jail for trying to protect me and my baby and my girl at the time. They put me in Rice Street on some stuff called medical flow. It's somewhere hid in the jail. It stink. It's crazy people in there talking, yelling through the door, putting feces all on the window and on the wall. They locked me in the room. It's one door right here, it's one door right here, and it's another door back here, and it's another door back here. I'm behind this door. I don't see nobody, I don't talk to nobody. I'm by myself I'm at the verge of losing my mind. People trying to shoot at me while I'm there. They got me locked in this room. I can't talk to nobody. I can't see nobody. I'm locked in this room. They held me in that room for 3 weeks. I got out of jail. I had a court date for another county where I never even been to for some charges I never even did. I don't steal out of stores. I went down to that courthouse and tried to get it situated. Went in the wrong courtroom, told the deputy, hey, my name is such and such, such. I missed court. I'm here to fix it. He said, oh, I gave him my name, told him what happened. He said, oh, you got a warrant. And he locked me up. They put me right back in jail. I stayed in jail a whole month. I had to use the money for selling my four-wheeler to pay an attorney to come represent me. I got the lawyer to come represent me. That lawyer, he got me a bond. A friend of mine gave my baby mama the money to pay my bond. She paid my bond. I got out of jail. The very next day, Atlanta police came into the gym with a whole lot of them. They got me, said that this my bag, this my gun. They took me from my neighborhood to Turnerfield. They questioned me. I told them it wasn't my gun. They let me go. They came back and get me June 10th. They questioned me. I was at the verge of losing my mind because every time I come outside, they keep locking me up. They got me. They did it. They held me in the interrogation room for a whole day, probably. I don't know. They put me right back in Rice Street, put me right back behind all these doors. They constantly kept doing it to me. You know what I mean? Like, I don't, at this point, like, man, I'm tired of keep reliving this stuff. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it, man. I'm sitting right here. I got cramps, man. I got knots in my stomach, man. I haven't ate none. I tried to eat yesterday. I haven't ate today. Y'all sitting up here. I asked for a break. I asked. I'm in pain right now. I understand it might be my fault. I'm telling y'all, I made it up. I lied. Damn, man. This is crazy. I'm telling y'all, my stomach hurting, man.
Well, with the honorable court's order, we're going to be leaving in a little bit of time. Can you try to just listen to the JW 240EE that I just said? If you need it, could you put in your earphone if you don't mind?
I can hear it.
Okay.
I hate jail. I hate jail, man. I'd be damn if I let nigga this shit with me. Man, my nigga try to kill me and my child, bro. And then he come out kill me, bro. Listen, I'm telling you, man, but you.
Mr. Copeland, with your background and your experiences in jail, is it fair to say that you would do anything not to go to jail? Mr. Copeland, can I ask you a couple of questions?
I'm listening.
Okay. For people who've never been to prison or jail, do you know the difference, by the way?
Y'all know the difference.
Objection around relevance.
Sustained.
Whether it's a prison or jail, is it fair to say that
Rice Street is not either one. There's not prison or jail. I don't know what that place is. This is the worst place in the world.
Do you remember being in custody after Friday, June 7th, 2024, after the first time you testified before the ladies and gentlemen of the jury, and before you came back in the late morning of Monday, June 10th, 2024? Do you remember where you were held?
You talking about they locked me up here?
Yes, sir.
What about it?
Do you remember were you held in the Fulton County Jail, another jail? Do you remember?
When they took me out of here?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Where were you held?
They took me to Rice Street, and then the next day came, they took me from Rice Street to DeKalb County Jail. And they down there just as worse as Rice Street.
And DeKalb County Jail, describe to the ladies and gentlemen jury what it was like when you were in that jail.
Objection, relevance, Your Honor.
Goes to his motivation for testifying here.
I don't know that we need to get that far afield. He's already told us that Rice Street is horrible. It's the worst place in the world, and DeKalb is even worse. So let's move on.
Mr. Copeland, after giving law enforcement officers this information that the prosecution has played for you, January 11th, 2015, recorded interview, January 28th, 2015, recorded interview, February 20th, 2015, recorded interview, February 21st, 2015, recorded interview, June 10th, 2015, 9-hour recorded interview. You got charged with murder, right? For Donovan Thomas.
Can you say it again?
Yes.
I heard the interview. You said I got charged with murder.
Yeah. Do you remember being served? No, I'm marking Jeffrey Williams number 245. May I approach you on?
You may.
I'm going to show you this, Mr. Copeland. If you need any assistance, let me know. Do you remember Detective Thorpe swearing out a warrant for you for the offense of murder for you knowingly and intentionally with malice aforethought on January 10, 2015 at 330 McDaniel Street, Atlanta, Fulton County, state of Georgia, did participate in the
Objection, Your
drive-by
Honor.
shooting?
Hang on just a second. Yes?
Reading something that's not into evidence and relevance.
Okay, well, overruled on relevance. What was the first thing?
That he's reading something that's not in.
All right, so have him, are you asking him whether he recognizes it? Just
Sure. Did he
ask
get
him,
charged?
do you recognize it? That's
Okay.
the way to do that.
Okay, look at Jeffrey Williams number 245. It's several pages, but this is the first page at first. Do you recognize that as the warrant taken for your arrest for murder of Donovan Thomas by Detective Thorpe on October 20th, 2015? Yes?
Wait,
Do you recognize that?
it's a warrant paper.
For you? True?
I see my name on it.
Okay. And that's Detective Thorpe? Swore it out, right? Do you see that?
You gotta show me.
May I approach, Your Honor?
You may.
May I approach you, Mr. Copeland? You see that?
Yeah.
And you see the date on there, Mr. Copeland? October 20th, 2015?
You said who?
October 20th, it says 10/20/15, 2015.
No, I don't see it.
May I approach, Your Honor?
You may. Are you going to ask him whether it was served on him? Because he didn't really answer whether he recognized it.
Date?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And at that time, you were in federal custody at the Robert A. Dayton Detention Center. When I say that time, October 20th of 2015, you were awaiting the federal charges that eventually you were sentenced to 51 months in custody, right?
No, I was sentenced to 5 years.
Okay, apologize. 60 months in custody. Apologize. While you were held at the Robert A. Dayton Detention Center in Clayton County, do you remember that?
Lord Joy.
Yes, Lovejoy. Do you remember being served by a United States Marshal these warrants while in Lovejoy?
No, my attorney told me.
Okay. And you were charged with what crimes?
He just said murder.
All right. For Donovan Thomas, right?
That's what he said.
Okay. So after Detective Thorpe, you knew that he worked with Detective Gaither, right?
What you mean?
They were co-workers. They were working, they interviewed you together, interrogated you. You knew that he worked with Detective Dennis, right?
Right?
You knew he worked with federal ATF agent Cunningham, right?
Right?
And he took out a warrant for you for murder of Donovan
Right.
Thomas, just 4 months after you gave the last interrogation that we have, June 10th, 2015, right?
Right.
Going back to 2014, going into 2015, you met Jeffrey Williams for a short period of time that you were, my word would be hanging out with him, but that's a bad word, that you were in his company and he was in your company, a short period of time. Is that fair to say?
Right.
And when you met him, you already said that he was very popular.
Yes.
True. And is it true that that you observed he was trying to help people like you, but other people too, to get jobs, like legitimate jobs?
What you mean?
Recording studios.
No, I'm saying I don't get what you're asking me.
Okay, let me ask you a different way. So forget about what I said. When you met Jeffrey, did you witness him trying to get people to have a legitimate job? A legitimate just means a job at a recording studio, make music, trying to help people.
I can't speak for other people, but he tried to help me.
Okay. And when you knew him for the period of time, we're really talking about like between your birthdays. Do you know Jeffrey Williams' birthday by any chance? And if you don't, that's fine.
Well, now I do, but
You didn't back then? Okay.
I didn't. Yeah.
Is it fair to say that you and he knew each other, but like after your birthday in July of 2014 and really stopped because you were in custody anyway, by July 2015? That's the period of time that you knew each other? Is that true?
No, I didn't. From 2014, I met him like at the end of 2014.
And then you already told the jury, but you got locked up a lot. The police kept locking you up in January, February, March, April, May, and then June. You were locked up in federal custody for 51 months. True?
Yes.
Okay. And that's really the only period that you knew Jeffrey. It's
Yeah.
the only time that you were around him or he was around you. True?
Well, really, we wasn't even together every day. I was out in the neighborhood.
So when the state is asking, like, you questioned about, you were so close with him, what you really did was you'd go to a studio, he'd let you come to a studio. True?
Yes. I was going with somebody else.
Yeah. You went originally with a gentleman I know as Mr. Trontavious Stevens. Do you know that name?
Yes.
Is that also Slug and Tick?
I
Same
know.
person?
I called him Tick. Yeah.
Okay. And that's how you first were introduced to be around Jeffrey Williams. True?
I think so.
And then you would see him, he'd allow you, and when I say allow you, I mean it was okay. He allowed a lot of people to go to his shows, right?
I think Tick invited me out.
Okay. And that was really your relationship with, and he would take pictures with you if you wanted to and he wanted to. True?
Yeah, I asked.
Yeah. And you put that on social media. You were promoting Jeffrey and you liked that.
He give me, yeah.
And it gave you a little bit of maybe
No, a
fame.
lot.
Okay. Gave you a lot of fame. True?
Yeah.
And you were trying to launch your own career as a musical artist at that time. True?
I was trying to find myself.
Okay. Later, though, you did try to, and you did launch your career as a musical artist, right?
Well, I going back to jail, they started locking me back up.
You were trying to do that, though. You were trying to do
I tried it.
Yes. You had a manager.
Huh?
You had a manager.
Yes, I had a lot of stuff.
Yeah. They were controlling your social media feeds, etc.
Yes.
True. Okay. You put out music videos. True?
Well, my manager and them did.
Sure. But you were featured. You were starred.
Right.
It was your music.
Right.
Okay. Jeffrey never had the pleasure of having you featured in one of his songs. Is that true?
No, I ain't never been in his song.
Okay. And Jeffrey never was featured in one of your songs. Is that true?
No, me and him don't have music together.
All right. But he did put you in one song of his. You know the song Halftime?
I'm listening.
Do you remember the line, and I'm not saying this a quote, but something effective, if you mess with me, Woody will come up and pop you in the noggin. And if that's not a quote, I'm not trying to misquote it, but that's what is that something like what it says in that song?
Yeah.
And the song is Halftime, right?
Yes.
Wildly popular song.
Yes.
And the police, when that song was released, the police seized on that to use it against you, basically. You knew that, right?
Sustained.
From your vantage point, and what that means is you learned that the police was using that song. They asked you about that song.
No, they told me.
Yeah.
One of them told me that I think I had got out like shit. I got out one of the jails and they got me the next day. And they were like, yeah, man, now you're at the top of our radar. It was something like, and he pissed me off when he said it.
He being the detective.
No, it wasn't no detective, it was the police.
Okay. The police officer upset you when they
I think it was Dennis that said it. It was one of them that said it to me.
Okay. Now, that's the only time you're mentioned in one of Jeffrey's songs. Is that true?
What you mean?
There's not another song that Jeffrey, to your knowledge, mentions you.
Yes.
Okay. And Halftime, you know this, was made in 2000. It wasn't released till 2015, but it was made in 2014. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay.
It's an old song.
And there's no truth to that lyric that you would pop somebody in the noggin for Jeffrey. Am I right?
I would never.
I want to go back to what we talked about earlier, that Jeffrey was in fact this is, by the way, Your Honor, this is JW, Jeffrey Williams, 241B, as in Barry States Exhibit 378Y, A as in Elisa. It's at 3:16:50 a.m. to 3:16:56 a.m. And this is January 28th, 2015 meeting or interview or interrogation with the police. Okay, Mr. Copeland, I'd like you to listen to this about things were good with Jeffrey. If you could just listen to this.
Defense counsel said January 20th. I think this is the January 11th interview.
You are, and thank you very much. I apologize, Your Honor. It's Mr. Copeland's January 11th, 2015 with Detective Thorpe. Same time.
I was cool with him at first. Like, George started let me hang and put me out on his songs and videos.
You were telling Detective Thorpe that Jeffrey was cool with Mr. Thomas, right?
I guess.
And that's the truth, though, right?
I don't know. I'm saying I can't hear what I said in the video.
Okay, how about this? From your observations, Jeffrey was on good terms with Donovan Thomas.
I don't think I ever seen them two. I can't remember being around both of them
Ever?
at one time.
You never saw them dap each other up?
I'm saying I don't think I've been around with. I don't think I've been around like if I never seen them. I don't think I've been around with both of them in the same place. If that makes sense.
Yeah, of course. Okay.
I don't remember. I can't remember seeing both of them in the same place.
Okay. I want to talk with you about what you told the detectives. It's June 10, 2015. And this is when you're telling the detectives you're at the McDonald's and D gets into your car. I want to talk to you about this. This is JW or Jeffrey Williams 240M as in Magic, States Exhibit number 378, YE as in Aaron, 2:45 p.m. to 2:46 p.m. And you say to the police, SHI blank, I just heard D got in the car and he was like, they just killed him. Or he like, yeah. He like, boy, they killed Nut. Detective Thorpe said, who he say killed Nut? You said, I'm telling you. Like my heart started pounding. Like who? He was like, them. And then Nard got in the car. He shut up talking. So we get riding. I'm like, where the HELL? We going? He told me that I was already trying to get the HELL away from them. So Moonton FaceTimed me. He like, boy, you know old boy just got shot, right? They saying, boy, he just might not make it. I'm like, who? He like, Nut. I'm like, huh? Man, he trying. He like, SHI, boy, you know they could scream. You know they could scream out a name, right? Man, boy, I ain't got nothing to do with it. So SHI, I'm like, man, my head started hurting instantly. I got off the phone with him. So we following behind them, we dropped. That's when we dropped them at Thug's house. They was in the car, in the first car. So when we pulled up, I want you to listen to this and tell me if that's what we're talking about. Excuse me.
So I just heard D got in place like they just killed him. Yeah, he like, boy, they killed Nut. When you say killed Nut, I'm gonna tell you, I'm like, my heart started pounding like who? He like, damn. And then another guy in the car, he shut up top. So we get the line. I'm like, where they was going? But when he told me that, I was already trying to get a head away from them. So I moved to a FaceTime, he like, but you know, old boy, they got shot, right? He's saying, boy, his head might not make it. I'm like, who? He like, Nut. I'm like, him. Man, he like, shit, well, you know they could scream, out of name, right? And, well, I ain't got nothing to do with it. So shit, I like, man, my head started hurting instantly. I got off on him. So we fight behind him, we drop him. Then we pull up his throw.
Mr. Copeland, did the district attorney's office or anybody in law enforcement, an agent with the FBI who's a cell phone expert or any of the police, did they ever go over with you where your cell phone that you told them about was traveling from the McDonald's area towards Jeffrey's home on January 10th, 2015? Did they ever ask you about that to explain it?
No.